Hey, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in to the Hanging On to Hope podcast.
I'm Brenda J.
And I'm Karen Wonder.
And we are HangingOnToHope.org.
This podcast is intended as educational and is not psychological or medical advice. Always consult a professional when needed, and we disclaim any liability in connection with the instruction, information, or advice given. Hello, and welcome to the Hanging On to Hope podcast. This is Karen W. Today we have Sara Chesterfield on the podcast. Sara is a menopause coaching specialist. She has a master's degree in educational counseling and is also a wellness and nutrition coach, a certified yoga and, is it Qigong?
Qigong.
Okay. Instructor and co-founder of the Retreat Ladies with Dawn Hopkins, who is my yoga instructor. So welcome to the podcast, Sara.
Well, thank you. It's an honor. It's an absolute honor to be here with you.
Well, we're excited about this conversation. So I've been wanting to have a podcast to discuss menopause since I personally went through a health crisis that involved menopause after I went through a traumatic and stressful season with my dad's aggressive cancer diagnosis. He passed away in March after being diagnosed 5 months earlier. It affected so much of my life, my ability to function well at work, sleep, exercise, mental health. So just to get started, can you share your experience, which was part of what led you to get your menopause coaching degree?
Well, first of all, I'm so very sorry about your loss. Every loss is unique and different.
Yeah.
And I'm very sorry for that.
Continuing with part 2.
Weight gain and menopause belly are very common, unfortunate symptoms of menopause. I can attest to that. Do you have some tips to combat that? Please say you do. Everybody wants to know. Listeners want to know.
Well, like I mentioned earlier, of the women who the research study followed, weight gain was to them severe. It was a severe symptom.
Yeah.
So first of all, we have to love and accept ourselves. First of all.
Right.
We will never be who we were.
Yeah. Right.
And again, we can't shame ourselves into change. Women have been shamed for their bodies for all of time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Their bodies are not embraced. Their shape is not embraced. And in our culture, the United States, I've traveled a lot over the summer and I was in Europe, and I feel that Americans are a little more body sensitive, where we are more, we want the thin body. We have this look that we're trying to always get. So there is no magic pill and there is no magic supplement, contrary to what TikTok influencers are trying to push on us, and then you have a woman with the big bowl of salad drenched in dressing and she's just shoveling it and she weighs probably 110 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, oh, this is what I eat on repeat and I lose weight. Well,
Yeah.
when we were young women, okay, I think we need to listen to our bodies.
Yes.
Weight gain, again, nutrition. If you don't know when you're full, then you need some strategies to figure out how to eat. And one strategy that I do teach a lot to women is when you have food in your mouth, put your fork on the plate.
Just like enjoy it. And
it causes you to slow down. So it's kind of like a mindful eating technique.
Mm-hmm.
However, you actually have the words food in mouth, work on plate.
Okay.
Movement. Moving at least 150 minutes a week. I've said it before and I will say it for the rest of my life. When we stop moving, we don't sleep well. We gain more weight. And the most important thing that menopausal women can do is lift weights. Cardio is not as effective. There's a lot of research out there. Well, women still think that, they need to get their heart rate up. Running, no. High intensity training, no. Heavy weights, that will get your heart rate up.
Okay.
These things will help. There is hope.
Yeah. So do you think a combination of weights with yoga? Because then yoga is kind of, to me, when you're doing weights, yoga kind of is a good counteractive to that.
Right. So is
especially with the cortisol and all that going on.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think the weights does bring your belly down because you lose body fat. But I recently, with this hormone mess up that I had over the last month, I noticed it in that area. And I'm like, okay. So for me, it's not as much now at this age about what I look like. It's about what is that telling me?
Right.
Like, what's off? What am I doing wrong? What do I need to change? So I get what you're saying, though. Everyone else, it's more about what you look like, but it should be more about, is this a sign that there's something off?
You're absolutely right. And we do typically gain weight around the middle at a certain age. And that is menopause belly. And maybe we won't get rid of it entirely.
Right.
Maybe we just accept and we exercise the best we can.
Right.
We eat nutritional foods the best we can. We sleep as best we can. We take very good care of ourselves and say, well, this is who I am.
Yes. And that's what I just started to do. I'm just going to keep doing my workouts, but I do need to eat better. I've been eating the couple of things I should have been eating, and so I kind of knew, and also with the few things that I had to tweak. But yeah, I totally agree. Just do your best and be happy.
Right. Do your best and be happy. Do your best with what you have.
Mm-hmm.
We're all going to slip and have, something where we know isn't great for us. But
yeah, you don't have to eat perfectly.
There's a new day tomorrow.
Yeah. And I like what you said about shame, because I'm really good at shaming myself too.
Yeah,
so I like what you say about that, because I struggle. I think I'll struggle with that to the day I die, because it's just, I don't know, something I struggle with a lot. But
well, and you can just put it on a sticky note and put it on your bathroom mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do agree that not eating the processed foods, everything you said at the beginning, I just watched like a 2-hour thing. It was so good. I should send it to Karen, but just talking about that's how our food is just like 75% of people, including children, are obese because of processed foods we're eating.
Mm-hmm.
And they make it cheaper to buy the processed foods and more expensive to buy the good foods. So people end up eating the processed foods. And
Absolutely.
I catch myself, I don't like to eat them, but I catch myself eating them sometimes. And I'm like, I need to stop eating this. This is addicting.
Well,
and I find myself addicted to it. I'm like, okay, I don't need to eat that.
For some of us, it's also comfort.
Yeah.
It's how we were raised. It might be how we grew up. It might be, it might also be something our spouses love. It might be something that someone in our family loves to have, and it brings them happiness. So
yeah,
I guess.
Don't tell me I can't have my popcorn.
I do like popcorn. Popcorn is not bad for you. Popcorn
is not.
Yeah, it's high in fiber. Of course, I do like real butter.
It is high in fiber.
Yeah, because someone asked me yesterday, said I need to stop eating processed foods, and I said you can eat popcorn, and they're like, oh, because I love chips. I said you can. Popcorn's fine.
Yeah, sometimes I do it in the hot air popper, and it's hot, and you can put coconut oil on it. You can make it healthier.
She does love popcorn. She gets really, really happy when she is making popcorn, and it like changes. It's just this joy. I love it.
Definitely comfort food, but I think most people it's associated, with such happy things like movies, and to me, it was a childhood thing. Like my mom had made popcorn.
Popcorn is good.
Yeah,
mine did too. My father used to pop us popcorn.
Yeah, I still have one of those
Jiffy Pop.
Yeah, I still have one of those you can go on the stove, and I was thinking the other day I need to make that on the stove because that's really good too.
I think we're going to have a whole segment podcast on popcorn.
Let's talk more about popcorn.
Popcorn. Well, yeah, I'm happy now.
It is high in fiber. So,
I think one day I didn't want to eat all day because I knew I was going to see a movie with my son or something, and I was going to have that popcorn.
Yeah, I know. I love having popcorn.
I don't need any food because I'm having popcorn.
Yeah. When I was single, that would be my meal sometimes, you know?
Oh, mine too. Mine too.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. I'm totally serious.
I ate popcorn.
Yeah.
Yes, that was lunch and dinner.
I know.
I know when Nicole and I go to the movies, she doesn't want to share hers.
Get your own.
Yeah, you want it? I'm having my own, and you got to get your own.
Yeah, I know. I suppose my kids are like that too. They get like the extra large popcorn.
So do my boys.
They don't want to
I
share.
love it. That's so funny.
So you say that rest and recovery are essential and that allowing yourself time to recover strengthens your ability to participate fully in life's demands. Some options you offer for recovery and regeneration include self-myofascial release, mobility or flexibility exercises, diaphragmatic breathing or breath work, restorative yoga, journaling, setting boundaries, and is it Qigong? I don't know why I always...
Qigong.
Okay. I don't know why there's certain words I just have an issue with.
I don't think I could have said that one either.
So did you want to, what is the self-myofascial release?
Yeah.
Well, that's foam rolling.
Oh, okay.
So
I have a foam roller.
it's foam rolling, or there are larger body balls that you can put underneath your body, your spine, your shoulders, your back, and roll out tension. I used to teach a class at a yoga studio.
I remember your classes. You had the thing for your feet.
Yeah.
I love it. I went and bought those after I went to your class because I'm like, wow, this actually gets the tension out of my feet.
Yeah. Myofascial release. My husband watches TV at night, and he has a foam roller in front of the television set. And he literally rolls about an hour a night. And it's very soothing and very relaxing for him. So there are some rules, you don't want to go over certain joints and bones, but for the most part, myofascial release is very releasing and relaxing. Mobility and flexibility exercises, again, something stretching. Yin yoga, where you are holding poses on the floor, typically for your lower back, ligaments and muscles, and you release and relax that way. Diaphragmatic breathing and breath work. I work with a lot of women on how to breathe.
Yeah.
How to breathe. Breathing in for 4, breathing out for 8. Don't even have to pause. A lot of women find pausing to be stressful and triggering. It can be activating to some people. So just breathe in for 4 through the nose, breathe out for 8, either through the mouth or the nose.
That makes it really simple. Yeah, I like that.
Very nice, calming, nice. Some people can go 5 and 10. 4 and 8 is a nice way to start. So Qigong is standing, gentle. It's a very gentle standing movement and exercise where we open up the meridians in our body. I'm a 200-hour Qigong instructor, and I've been doing that for about 5-6 years now. And I just absolutely love watching women just kind of float out of a room afterwards. I'm teaching a Qigong for grief and transition class workshop at Inner Vision Yoga coming up November 17th.
Okay.
And it's not just about grief through death and dying. It's about grieving maybe the woman we used to be and empowering the woman we are now. A lot of women I work with also are transitioning from careers. They're at an age where they're retiring, their children are moving out of the home. That's another transition or another grief process. Journaling is journaling is very underrated.
Yeah, I agree.
And, we kind of think, oh, it's something I have to do. Well, if you think it's something you have to do, then you're not going to want to do it. But
that's my problem then.
So there's a lot of journaling prompts. So when you start your day with a ritual of, instead of scrolling, maybe writing, what kind of a day do I want to have? What are the intentions I want to put in my life? What kind of actions, what kind of vow, what kind of soul vow do I want to have? My words, my thoughts, and my actions. How do I want to interact with people that I don't even know, but I will come in contact with? And then at night, I did the best I could. How could I have done better? What did I do great? What would I like to work on? It doesn't have to be some long drawn out paragraph of something. And sometimes just brain dumping at night for like 10 minutes, just brain dump.
Yeah.
Or in the morning. It's called morning pages, and it's really helpful and effective to start your day. So habit stacking, I'm waiting for the coffee to brew. I have my journal out there and I just start writing about the kind of day I want to have.
I like that.
And the most important thing that I think as women that we need to do is to set boundaries.
Yeah, I agree.
We need to understand that no is a complete sentence.
Yeah.
My mother, she was so afraid to say no. And I saw what that did to her. Saying no is a boundary, and it is a complete sentence.
Yeah, we shouldn't have to explain ourselves.
No.
Nope.
We should not.
I agree.
So are you teaching your restorative yoga anywhere?
I teach yin. So it's a yin, I've done
that a couple times, but
yeah, I teach that on Wednesday nights. It's actually warm. It's about 90 degrees. I teach it. It's an infrared paneled room at Inner Vision Yoga.
Is that the one in Tempe or?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's on Wednesday nights from 6 to 7. And I also teach a flow, yin yang flow. So it's yin, a little restorative, and flow on Friday mornings. And that's at 7:30 in the morning.
I want to go to your restorative. I remember when you said that, I loved your restorative yoga classes.
Oh, thank you. Well, I do also, provide privates for women when they need them. And Dawn and I do quite a lot of restorative yoga events. We call them cuddle puddles. So we do a lot of cuddle puddles throughout the year. I think we have one coming up in either November or December. And so if you get our newsletter or my newsletter, it's also would be in my newsletter.
Okay. Yeah, I need to sign up for one of those. I missed those.
We'd like to thank you so much for your information, being with us today. How can our listeners find your website and if they're interested in your coaching program?
You can find me at my name, Sara, Sara Chesterfield.com. And when you go onto my website, it'll ask if you want to subscribe to my newsletter, which I send out a newsletter twice a month. And it is all about hormones, protein, nutrition, exercise, everything you want to know about going through menopause. And it's not just for women. I highly recommend men sign up and men listen and educate themselves as much as they can, because they will help their wives, their mothers, their daughters, their friends, and it'll help them understand what women are going through.
Yeah, that it's a real thing going on.
Yeah, and I go to like a naturopath. He's a hormone specialist, because I have a thyroid issue, and all my kids go to her as well. So if they come to you, do you have certain doctors that you'll recommend to help them walk through this journey as well?
I do not do that. I cannot recommend any one doctor, simply because everyone has their own unique experience with certain doctors. I may say, oh, I love this doctor, and you may not.
Right.
I highly recommend people do their homework for them to interview a doctor if they can. I interviewed the man who's going to do my colonoscopy. I did a telehealth. I interviewed him on Zoom, and he's like, well, this is interesting. And I'm like, well, yes, it is.
Yeah, I just found it's hard to find somebody that understands hormones and specializes just in that area. So that's why I asked that question.
Yeah. I was going to my gynecologist recommended another gynecologist in the office, and I went to him for a couple times, but I didn't feel like he was quite understanding. I don't know. I wasn't really relating. And then I started reading more about menopause. I'm like, gosh, it's so complex. And I looked him up, and I'm like, he doesn't specialize in hormones. He specialized in, different kind of birthing things. And I'm like, I want to go to someone that specializes in hormones because it is so complex. So I started going to someone that's their main specialty. Because you start reading about it, and it's really complex trying to, figure it all out.
It is. And as a former counselor, I am very careful about my boundaries and who I recommend.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I'm just hoping our listeners will. I kind of brought that up at the end there just so that they'll think more about who they're going to, like who they're going to get help from if they do need it.
We actually live in a wonderful area here that has quite a few clinics, doctors, menopause clinics. Also, I think women talk to your women friends, talk to the women who you really trust about their doctors.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Yeah, that is word of mouth. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate your information. I know that it was funny. I was at work and my director, who I don't think I've hardly ever talked to before, but I was talking to another coworker about menopause and she kind of overheard it. And she's like, she just stopped and started talking about it. So I'm like, I think a lot of women do want to talk about it because especially if you're going through it, and it's just something that women can relate to that are going through it,
Right. And I also really strongly recommend husbands or partners or spouses reading reading about menopause. My husband has been my biggest cheerleader over the past 3 years. He has helped me exponentially, and I have talked to him so much about this. And that's another thing. Women are afraid to talk about a lot of these symptoms.
Yeah.
And if we can't talk to our spouses about it, I understand a lot of women don't want to, but I think when men start to open up their hearts and start to understand the tremendous things that women are experiencing, and some suffer greatly, and we should not have that. Yeah. Not in 2024.
Yeah. And it's weird because, we're always told to use our suffering for good, and, we're abuse victims. And I think, though, the health problems that I encountered relating to the abuse really helped me I had to fight for my health from the time I was, 25 years old. And it's helped me actually during this time in my life because I'm so used to fighting for it. For me, it's like okay, what's going on now? What do we have to? So I think I'm just really used to it, whereas a lot of people aren't, so I guess, you have to look at things in a positive light, or at least try to.
Right. And never forget the resilient woman that is within you. She's always there.
Yeah.
That resilient woman is always inside of you. She just gets kind of dumped on and covered up. And it's sometimes when we do take care of ourselves and we take the time to recognize this, it's like spraying Windex, and wiping away the crud. Mm-hmm. And we just have to keep doing that. We just have to keep doing that.
We do. Yeah, we do.
Yeah, because you have all of this inside of you. You do. It gets hidden. It gets covered up.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, this is very validating. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. I just thank you for what you do and helping women. It's just so important.
Yeah.
Now, are you on Instagram or Facebook?
I'm on both. I'm Sara Williams Chesterfield on Facebook, and I'm Sara Chesterfield 1, I think, because I think there's a Sara Chesterfield on Instagram. And if you do see my Instagram or my Facebook page, you'll see my post was about my business. I don't post a lot, and I don't post a lot about my business, but I have newsletters now, and for subscribers, I needed to put it out there, and I actually got a really good response.
Really?
On social media, which so I'll find you.
I found you on Facebook.
So we have a Hanging On to Hope.
On Facebook.
You do?
And Instagram, but I couldn't.
I see you. Okay.
Brentford, but we have a Hanging On to Hope.
I love writing a newsletter because I love helping women, and it's inspiring. As you probably know, you have people say, I did not know that. Thank you.
Yeah, right. I don't know how to get your emails. Where do I go?
Oh, go to my website, sarachesterfield.com. I love the name of your podcast.
Well, that's the name of our nonprofit too. So we started the nonprofit first, and then we're like, well, we might as well keep the name. Let's not complicate things. It's just, keep it simple.
Keep it simple. That's why my website's my name. It's my name.
Yeah. We like simplicity.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
I love that picture. I love your hair, actually.
I know, I do too.
I wish mine looked good. It doesn't look.
I know. I really am thinking about going gray.
You don't know what your hair's going to look like when you go gray. It's scary for about the first 7 months.
I know mine's so white, and I was doing gray blending, but then I'd be like, no, I need more,
Well,
color.
you look good with gray hair, and she already has blonde hair. But for me, I don't even recognize myself.
My hair was almost black.
Okay. So
that's my natural. So I started going because, again, during menopause, the hair dye started burning my skin up and it hurt, and I just couldn't do it anymore. And I cut my hair pretty short and I let it grow out, and I cried a lot. I had women, men were pretty supportive, but women were actually, if you can't afford to get your hair done, I'll do it for you.
Really?
Yeah. See, I have to use like an all natural one from a health store that has no ammonia in it that I bought, and I do it myself, and everyone thinks I'm weird because I don't go to the hair salon.
No,
I can't handle the chemicals.
I couldn't either. It hurt. My eyes hurt. On my skin all over.
You can't even be in a hair salon or a nail salon or anything.
No,
I'm super sensitive to everything. So I get it.
Yeah.
But I've been using the same one forever. I'm like, I don't know.
And I just want you to know that you never know what you're going to look like with gray hair, but I will tell you, it's who you are.
Yeah.
You will be amazed at how gorgeous you already are.
Oh, that's cool. My mom she was in her 60s, I think, when she finally did it.
Yeah. You're already beautiful, and it's hair. And if you hate it, you can color it again.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I think it looks great on you, though. It looks really good.
Thank you. This is what I am. This is who I am.
And people are so afraid to age, and they do everything they can not to age. And
right.
I realized like 2 weeks ago, I'm like, aging's extremely humbling, and God wants us to be humble.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very humbling.
It is humbling.
It is.
Your egos.
Yeah. It really is.
Yeah, it gets challenged.
It's a privilege.
No, I don't want to let
It's like no matter how great you try to look, don't have a wrinkle or whatever, everybody still knows your age. Just embrace it.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't understand.
It's vanity.
Yeah.
We hold on to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what?
Culture.
It's just amazing what all you need is just a little swipe of lip gloss, and you're out the door, and you're like, wow, that was easy.
Oh yeah, because when you're older, if you put on foundation and stuff, you look older. So I
know. I just switched to like a really light. It's almost just like a tinted moisturizer.
I just wear a little eyeshadow and lip gloss, and I'm done.
Yeah, it's great. I know my husband's even like, I'm so glad you don't wear makeup anymore. And then when I got ready for the podcast, I put on some lip gloss, and he's like, it's a podcast.
Like, oh my gosh.
And I said, but I feel pretty with lip gloss.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't even see it, so it doesn't matter.
Well, you look great. I didn't even realize you didn't have makeup on. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, this is very validating. So thank you so much.
Yeah, I felt like we were like on the podcast with Sarah McDougal when she was in her car and it got dark.
I know. I was thinking that too.
We started the podcast with the light, and then the next thing you know, it was like dark.
I know.
I'm like, I can't even see my face.
Thanks for tuning in to Hanging On to Hope. Check out our website, hangingontohope.org. There are resources on there, and if you would like to donate or volunteer, you can do that through our website. We are a brand new nonprofit, so we appreciate any and all support. And we thank you for listening. And until next time, keep hanging on to hope. We are evidence that there is hope and healing for you, and our passion is to help you find it too. So thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for listening, everyone.